Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And I'll be reading from this book. This is a new book that I'll be starting on. Nothing changes, everything changes. This is by my guru, His Eminence the 25th Sam Tuku Rinpoche. And I'll be reading a short biography on my guru, Sam Tuku Rinpoche, and then a preface before I move into the book itself. So let me show you a picture as usual before that. There you go. See? Okay. So a short biography about my guru, Sam Tuku Rinpoche. Born of Mongolian Tibetan heritage, brought up in America, and trained by some of Tibet's most prominent Buddhist masters, Sam Tuku Rinpoche bridges the gap between East and West, bringing the ancient wisdom of Buddhist teachings to our contemporary world. Drawn to the Dharma since childhood, Rinpoche left America at 19 and was ordained by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in India. He studied at Ganden Monastery, one of Tibet's most prestigious universities, now located in South India. There, he was recognized as a Tulku from an illustrious lineage. His gurus include His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, His Holiness Kapje Ling Doje Chang, His Holiness Ganden Tripa, Jampel Zenpen, His Holiness Kapje Zong Rinpoche, Khenso Lobsang Tachin Rinpoche of Saramay, attained Master Geshe Sotrip Gyaltsen, and he is now based in Malaysia, where he has been teaching for more than 10 years. Rinpoche is most beloved for the neon wisdom he brings to Dharma teachings, locating them in contexts relevant for the modern practitioner and imbuing teachings with humor. He constantly reminds us that we need not compromise who we are to be able to practice Dharma. As a fan of Madonna, Mother Teresa, and Versace, Rinpoche teaches us to loosen up and be ourselves, but better. Under his guidance, the Dharma Center Kachara House was set up in Kuala Lumpur and over the years has expanded to include a publishing house and various Dharma stores. All these have the sole intention of bringing benefit to others and assisting people to find their own spiritual path to happiness. And now the preface on page 9. One of my friends lives with her father and two little nieces, horrible little monsters that make it a point to wreak as much havoc in the house as possible. One day, while playing yet another prank on their dear old grandfather, they tested his patience so much he promptly exploded in a rage and began to yell. The littlest girl, only about 4 years old, went up to him and pointed out, her nose in the air, "Akong, I didn't make you angry. You made yourself angry," and ran off to cause more trouble. How completely aggravating, but totally true. It is almost surprising that it takes a 4-year-old to remind us of this simple truth that most of the time we make ourselves make ourselves angry. Things don't turn out the way we want or expect, so we throw a fit, get depressed, take it out at everyone around us, and in the process make ourselves unhappy. A 21st century world dictates that the baddies are on the outside. Newspapers, movies, stories from our friends thrive on the injustices done by others. Good versus bad. Baddie versus hero. Them versus me. The increasing number of trips to psychiatrists and therapists to puzzle out our depressions almost always link the cause to something that was or is being done to us by someone else. An abusive parent, the husband that left us, an uncompromising, demanding boss. And then suddenly, in this teaching, Sam Tuku Rinpoche gives us a shocking new message that we are the biggest perpetrator of our problems. Just like the grandfather, we make ourselves angry, not the husband, the wife, the colleague, the sister, the parent, the rest of the world. It may seem disheartening at first. After all, it's so much easier pointing fingers at others than to take responsibility for ourselves. It's hard to suddenly get off the soapbox and go into a guilt trip for causing our own unhappiness. But there also is the inherent message within these teachings that we are not bad for doing what we do, getting angry, cheating on women, wasting our hard-earned money on ridiculous amounts of alcohol, bad-mouthing the people who have hurt us, taking out our disappointments on everyone else. But there is another way of living and looking that can bring a profound yet blissful peace of mind. And all we have needed to do all along is transform part of the way we look at things. We strike at the heart of all our problems, and then things really do start to change without anything actually changing at all. A note on editing. The following teachings are direct and original transcripts of talks given by His Eminence Sam Tuku Rinpoche, which have been lightly edited for grammar and style. In almost every teaching, Rinpoche discusses several different topics which tend to overlap and run in a loop. In keeping the flow of the teaching, these topics have not been broken up and edited into separate sections. Instead, for ease of reading, subheadings have been placed at important breaks in the teachings, where certain particularly strong messages and themes are highlighted. Original recordings of these teachings are also available on CD, DVD, or can be downloaded online at www.samtuku.com. These edited transcripts are not meant to replace the talks themselves, and it is highly recommended that the reader complements this book by listening or watching the talks. It gives a much richer experience and understanding of both the teachings and Rinpoche's dynamic approach to Dharma. So I will go into the first part, why I make myself unhappy. This is page 13. Why I make myself unhappy. All the experiences we have fade into a dream, but the activities we do during those experiences do not fade. Quote, unquote. These are my notes that, when I woke up, I wrote down. Everything that you've experienced from the time you were born up until now, many of those things, many details you can't remember anymore. You can't. You can't even recall. In fact, when someone tells you something or reminds you about it, you go, oh, did that happen? Or sometimes little bits and memories come back. Even when we were a little child, things that we threw fits on, we threw our bottles down, we screamed and we hit our mothers and fathers, they were so serious at that time. At that moment it was happening. It was so incredibly serious, but now it's just a distant dream. But us being the bratty little kids that we were, throwing tantrums and fits are not forgotten. And when we grow up as adults, when we are temperamental and we are difficult and we are angersome, our parents or people who knew us will say, oh yeah, they were like that as a child. So what happens is whatever we do, the experiences that we have fade away, and they go away, and they disappear, and they don't matter anymore. In fact, by next week, you won't even remember we had a Dharma teaching this week. And for some of us, what was taught here and explained here by next week is already forgotten. That's not an insult. That's the way our mind works, unfortunately. The experiences we have, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, we experience the experience like watching a drama or a play. During a drama or play, it's very intense if the actors and actresses are really good. They make you cry, they make you laugh, they make you feel anxiety. You feel real. Why? Because your mind is totally absorbed in that play, totally. But when the play is over, when the show is over, you come back to reality. You know that it was just a play, that it was just actors and actresses. And sometimes we hear about actors and actresses and what they do, in the bad little gossip magazines. We like them for few reasons. I like them. I put them near my toilet bowl, so when I take my number 2, I read those. I don't read Dharma books in there, so I bring the next best thing, samsara. So I have my little gossip magazines about who's having what liposuction, who broke up with whom, who's with whom, who's suspected of this and all that stuff. And I put it next to my toilet and I read it when I'm taking my number 2. We like those and we read those. And we feel interested because one of the reasons is that when we see these actors and actresses on the screen, they portray a very good person, a wonderful person, or a very rotten, evil person. They portray a certain kind of character, and we kind of identify them with that. So when we read these magazines and they don't match the character, we find it interesting. For example, you may see an actress play the part of a nun where she is really holy and blah, 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 like Audrey Hepburn in the Nun story. And when she's so wonderful and holy, fabulous and everything, and then you read in a magazine she's divorced 4 times, you're like, what kind of a nun is that? And you find it interesting. Why? Because it doesn't match their character. So we like that. That's something subconscious in all of us. And we are like, oh, they can do that, and they can do this, and it's fun. In any case, similarly, things that happen to us, good and bad, are like a play or a show. Think about it. No matter how much intensity we put into the experience will pass. What happens will pass. And the person we had the good and bad experience with will pass and go away. And they fade into a dream. Think about relationships and friends and people we've known 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, a year ago. Some you can't even remember. Some you don't want to remember. They fade. And even the people we have relationships with now and in the future will be memories. Sometimes not even memories. But the actions we do with them do not become memories. What we do with people and the experiences do not become memories. For example, when we're riding in traffic and someone cuts us off and we immediately aggressively chase after them, the chasing will be done. But the action of anger and chasing them and wanting to get them and scare them and get them back and teach them a lesson doesn't go away. Why? We reinforce our anger. We experience the anger and we feel familiar with it. And when there are no immediate repercussions, we engage in it again and again and again until it becomes something very serious. Similarly, if we have a negative experience with someone, a negative experience, once it's over, that person is gone. Maybe we don't talk to them ever again. The experience we had with that person is gone, but the action we've done with that person is not gone. Whatever we've said and done that is hurtful and damaging to the other person equates into karma. And that karma remains, and that karma goes on. And the horrible part about that karma is that it multiplies daily. And the next horrible thing about karma is that it comes back to us. So whatever we do with the person, whether it's our parents, whether it's our girlfriends and boyfriends, whether it's friends, whether it's social people, whether it's the fancy of the moment, it will pass. And when it passes, we can't even remember anymore. But unfortunately, the action stays. And if we don't remember, and if you don't believe in karma, it's okay also. I'm not here to force it down your throat. But if you don't believe in karma, you can believe in this. The action stays because you reinforce your action. Let's say we are very attached to a relationship and we put all our energy into a relationship. It fades, it goes away, and all the energy and time we put into our relationship is gone. It's totally gone. And if we try to recapture or get it back, it will be worse than before. It will never be like before. The karma for it is gone. Now, if we are, we sorry, now if we have a good relationship and then we end it, and then we want another good relationship, we end it. Then we have this power of ending relationships, or we have the power of not wanting relationships. What happens is a time will come when our karma builds up and someone will do it back to us, and we won't be able to take it. If we don't have Dharma, if we don't have a good psychological background, we won't be able to take it. We may go off the deep end, commit suicide, do something violent, hurt, get revenge. We can do a lot of things. So even so-called good relationship experiences end up bad because they reinforce something that's not real. And with that, I will end the session. So thank you for sharing your time with me. And as Rinpoche started, is why do we make ourselves, why I make myself unhappy? And so as Rinpoche explained, that whatever actions, whatever events that happens, it would fade in our memories, like something, we have arguments with someone, or, eventually it would be forgotten. And, even eventually the person that we argue with may not be with us anymore in our circle of friends, or whatever relationship. But the thing is, while we are arguing, we are reinforcing the tendency to argue, and that will remain with us. So it is something that can be habituated, and it's something that will keep repeating, and then the tendency, will be there, and that's what's making us unhappy. So, so always be aware of our own actions, that we cultivate good tendencies. And that's one of the, well, anyway, I'll continue reading that on that particular topic, and in my next few sessions. And I do hope that you join me for that. So now I will end this with a completion dedication, and I'll do it in English. May the precious body mind, where it is not born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. May the precious emptiness, where it is not born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. May this merit accumulated by myself and others beneficially serve all sentient beings and the Buddha Dharma, and especially may the essential teachings of the unerring Master Tsongkhapa become clear and enduring. In all my rebirths, may I not be parted from perfect gurus. Let me enjoy the abundance of the Dharma, perfecting the qualities, stages, and paths. May I quickly attain the rank of Rajadhara Buddha. By this virtue, may I quickly realize Guru Buddhahood and transfer each sentient being into that enlightened state. May all conducive conditions arise and all obstacles be pacified in order to increase infinitely the doctrine of the spiritual king Tsongkhapa. By the merits of the 3 times of myself and others, may the doctrine of Lama Tsongkhapa blaze forever. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the paths of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. May the holy teachers have long lives. May the enlightened activities be fully displayed in the 10 directions. And may the brightness of the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa continuously dissipate the veil of darkness, covering the beings of the 3 realms. In this holy land surrounded by snow mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. May your lotus feet, O powerful Chenrezig, Tenzin Gyatso, remain in this world until the end of samsara. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and please do come back and join me for my next session. Bye-bye.